Shalom. I'd like to give all honor, glory, and praises to YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. Like give double honors to our apostles and elders, great millstone. Salutations to all you sincere Akim, pushing his word out across the four corners of the world. Just another GMS and transit lesson, all through the spirit and the power of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. And I was just thinking through the spirit, like what an advantage of knowing. You know, you go into the word know, it goes into to perceive or to possess information or knowledge. And from a spiritual sense, what's that spiritual knowledge? It's the understanding of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI via his holy word. And with that, we know the mind of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI pursuant to the book of Romans, the 11th chapter. By knowing his secrets, his hidden mysteries, his dark sayings, all in a combination of biblical prophecies. So I came across an article not too long ago, and it was going into how the inflation is soaring here in America, known as Babylon the Great, and how it's catching a lot of so-called black Americans off guard. And that's what majority of our people get for actually putting their trust system into this hellhole, into spiritual Egypt, which is a spiritual code name for America in the scriptures. So our people put their trust here in Egypt, but not knowing that you only came here to suffer. Pursuant to Micah the 2nd chapter, this place was never our rest. We're not supposed to get comfortable here. This place was only set up for us as Israelites, for us going off against YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI to be our punishment, and to use the so-called white man to be that punishing rod upon us. So these civil rights activists, these false leaders amongst our people, who sold our people that false dream about how we supposed to have equality here. When you read to the curses of Deuteronomy the 28th chapter, it stated how the stranger that's within thee should get up above thee very high. And that's referring to these other nations, especially from the tabernacle of Edom. So it's a spiritual reason why we are suffering from disparity, social injustices, racism, because it's all foretold in the scriptures. And that's where it's beautiful to know why we have to go through these things, and to know why are these things occurring around the world, especially here in America, where a lot of our people just really don't know. And that's why Yahawah told his disciples in Matthew the 13th chapter, blessed are your eyes for they can see, and your ears for they can hear. And that's referring to your spiritual eyes, your spiritual ears, and that's via the Holy Spirit that I salve, that we know the mysteries and the dark sayings of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. So by knowing, that's a benefit, that's a factor to embrace something compared to someone who doesn't have a clue. And how I like to bring up in the spirit, it's like playing football and you're in that quarterback position and you're throwing that ball down that mid part of the lane of the football field to that receiver. But the receiver do not know it's like a 300-pound linebacker on his heels, because that particular receiver is not embracing that lick in a spiritual sense. That's how 2/3 of our people are. They are not watching nor observing the times what we are in. They really hoping for things to get back better here so they can go back to a so-called normal way of life, or try to achieve this so-called American dream, which was all an illusion, especially for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So majority of our people are still asleep. So that's why it's mentioned in Jeremiah the 8th chapter, the turtle, the crane, the swallow, which are birds, but they know their appointed times, meaning that they know when it's time to migrate to a better region when they see that storm coming. Whereas 2/3 of our people, they do not know the judgment of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. How Esau Edom is going to come down like a madman, sparing none. And the reason why, the devil is going to come down with great wrath, because he has but a short time. And that means his rulership. So majority of our people are not put into a spiritual perspective, like why all these things are occurring right now. Like with the inflation, the food shortages, the different pestilences, and the list goes on. So just by knowing, that's a great advantage to have, especially within these last days. And yes, Jacob's trouble is going to affect us as well, because we are still here within this system. but more on a spiritual side, we can embrace it a lot more compared to 2/3 of our people who are not spiritual. They are straight carnal, and they have an emotional attachment to this place, what's going to catch a lot of them off guard, lacking. And they're going to be out here vulnerable, not expecting these harsh elements. So just by knowing the prophecies of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI and really sticking with his program within these last days is a hell of an advantage compared to 2/3 of our people who are spiritually lacking out here. So I brought this out. You always edify. You all stay strong. Keep pushing forward. Shalom.